Statement.
You know what? I want to give credit to Coach Herron, man. He does such a tremendous job. You never know what to expect in today's kind of climate, right? So with the transfer portal, you know, they're not the same New Hampshire that they've been in a previous year. So they reloaded with 10 new guys and some really high-level talent, man. They got a D2 kid who I think is fantastic. Obviously, their lefty junior college player we thought was as good as a lot of kids that we'll see in 2010. And then their point guard came in really explosive. I mean, they averaged 13 threes in the first 2 games. So that was obviously a key for us to limit their three-point attempts and make everything difficult for them inside of 2. And we were able to do that. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over a little too much in the first half, and not as much in the second half, but too much for our liking. It's something that we got to continue to work on. We feel really good if we get shots and we have the ability to set up our defense. With our depth and our tenacious defense, we have a chance to be really successful. When you give the ball away too often in live ball situations, you allow teams to get out in transition, and it's harder to defend, which we struggled with a little bit in the first half, which we gave up 30 points. But I thought we came out in the second half. I thought Kyle Rose was phenomenal on the ball, pressure 94 feet, really set the tone and took the kid, number 5, the kid Kyrie Brown, who I think is a big-time player, kind of sped him up and got him off balance. So really pleased with our second half effort. And I think if we could put 40 minutes together at some point of that type of defense, we'll be really, really tough out here at Rose Hill.
Coach, you got a lot of productive minutes out of your freshman tonight, especially with Richardson. He had 21 minutes on the floor. And he was bringing the ball up on a lot of plays, calling stuff to your other players. Like, how much do you trust him as a facilitator, like early on in the season?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, obviously, he's young and the game's speeding up, so he needs more experience. And a game like tonight allowed him, with that type of defense, he brings the ability with his cat-like reflexes. He can pick up 94 feet and really make a difference on the defensive end. And if he's playing that hard and we can get him out in transition because of his speed, he can be really effective. He just needs more, the game slows down every day for those guys. That's natural. So the more playing time he gets, I think the more comfortable he'll get. So I have utmost confidence. I'm telling him to keep shooting. Don't hesitate, man. Sometimes he gets a little hesitant trying to get too many people involved, and he doesn't look at the basket first. We're telling him, every time you got to look at the basket first, look to score, then make your teammates around you better. So he'll get it. He's a tremendous young man. He comes in, arguably, and most of his teammates would say, hardest working kid in that locker room. And as a result, he's going to continue to improve each and every day. That's all we can ask.
Coach, tonight the bigs, especially, was both exceptional. Abduson Vila, 6 rebounds. Rostik Nowitzki, 9 rebounds. Feasting on the defensive glass. How has their improvement from these 3 games been for your team, and where do you want them to be come December 28th?
Yeah, you know what? December 28th, obviously, we talk about being the best team we can be by the end of the year. And both of those kids, they're given maximum effort. Again, those 2, they're only a year really of playing time last year, and they split it with Chuba, right? So Rostik missed a ton of time last year, and that was really his first year in Division I basketball. So he's continuing to gain experience every minute he's out there. Same thing with Abdu. His major minutes last year were the first of his career, right? So the game, just like our young guys, they're going to continue to get better each and every time they're out on the floor because they see more experience, they see more things happening. Game continues to slow down for them. But they're big, and they're effective when they wall up and they challenge shots and they're able to rebound and chin rebounds. It really allows us to get out and pressure the ball on the perimeter. And as a result, I think that really affected some of their play tonight.
You talked about how, Friday night Arkansas's length and athletic start game. How much do you think that helped tonight? You guys really looked great in the full court, especially with the lead in that second half. Yeah, I mean, it obviously helped. I mean, but we had too many turnovers, less than half of what we had the other night. But, we took a look at some things and we said to ourselves, thank you to Coach Musselman and his staff, because we took a look and I said, we got to start pressuring like them. We got the athletes, we got the depth. We need to use our defensive, quickness and speed and our athleticism, right? So we challenged our guys to play tough and physical, which we consider Fordham basketball. I don't think we played that for 40 minutes the other night. I think we played it in spurts. We played in spurts the other night, and I think typically when you have 30
offensive turnovers and give up 16 offensive rebounds, you're usually going to lose that game by 30 or 40 points. You know, we had chances. We were down 8 in the second half to start the second half against them. So we felt like if we just continue to work on playing 40 minutes of Fordham basketball, we're going to be successful. I thought our guys came out, didn't play a complete 40, but we're getting closer.
Coach, this was another example tonight. UNH, a team that loved to jack up threes. You guys held them to only 10 total attempts in the game. They only hit 3. You guys have seen this sort of thing before with Dartmouth. How has the three-point defense improved from that game to now?
Well, you can tell, right? They hit 8 threes in Dartmouth in the first half because we weren't communicating as well and we were a little confused on some of their slips and blurs. You got to give Coach at Dartmouth and their players a little bit of credit. They confused us a little bit, right? So we made some adjustments and our guys have, you got to build trust. You can't hit the ball and run to third. I've said it before, right? So every day in practice, our guys have come with what we call lunch pail mentality. They want to get better 1% every single day. And they've been doing that, right? So we got better the last 2 days. We got better in the first 20 minutes than we were yesterday. And then in the second 20 minutes, we got better than we were in the first 20. And we've got to continue that improvement. And if we do, they'll start to build trust with one another, and we can be a really effective defensive team.
Coach, after game one, you talked about Darius Quisenberry,
yeah.
Guy put his body on the line for long shots. And you mentioned Kyle Rose's performance tonight. And that seemed like offensively something that, Kyle Rose was doing for a large portion of the game tonight. Is that something that the coaching staff, you guys encourage offensively, or do you feel like it's something that's kind of just like bled throughout the roster, watching some of your leaders, do that kind of thing?
No, honestly, our staff has done a ridiculous job over the course of the last 3 to 4 months getting each one of those guys individually better. Credit to those guys for putting in the maximum effort they've had. Kyle Rose has put in as much work as anybody else, and he's starting to see the fruits of his labor. We talked in the offseason constantly about his consistency. Last year, he had a couple great games shooting the basketball, but he was inconsistent. He'd have 2 games, then 2 off, 3 games, then 1 off, 1 game, then 3 off. So he's really focused on being more consistent, being smarter with his shots, because his defense, he's the heart and soul of that team right there. And he gets our tone going. So when he's playing like that, I think he focuses more on the defensive end. As a result, he doesn't think as much on the offensive end, and he just plays and start making some shots. Darius Quisenberry, when your best player is playing as hard as anybody else on the floor, and he's doing all the little things, as we call our attitude club, diving, trying to take charge. He's all over the loose balls. Every chance he gets, he's diving head first. When guys see the best player doing that, they're going to follow suit. Right? So he's becoming that leader both on and off the court, and we need him to continue to grow and do that for us.
What do you think the difference was with the three-point shooting tonight? You guys shot the ball great from behind the arc.
We just moved the ball a little bit better, right? We moved the ball. We were a little bit more patient, which is what we talked about the last 48 hours in practice. Just be patient. Don't get sped up. Get the ball side to side. We have enough driving space. We have enough talent where guys can make plays if we get the ball reversed and get it from side to side. We don't want to make one pass and keep it on the same side of the floor. When you get the ball side to side, you make the defense work a little bit, we can be pretty good because we got some guys that can make plays off the dribble. And if they don't converge, we got guys who can finish. If they do converge and you make the extra, then we get some open shots. And I think guys have worked on driving space the last few days. And again, our staff has done a tremendous job honing in on that, and our guys capitalized.
Abdu was setting a lot of screens tonight, a lot more than I think we've seen in the past 2 games. Do you think, his ability, really set some picks for the team help that ball movement?
Yeah, there's no question, but it takes 2 to tango, right? So I think Abdu's been nervous to set some screens because he's gotten so many offensive fouls in the last year and a half. But a lot of that has to do with our guards not being patient. And, credit to Coach Paulson, right? I never really expected to talk as much on offense as we do on defense. He brought that kind of mentality where you got to talk just as much on offense as you do on defense. So we've worked tirelessly on our bigs, communicating with our guards, wait, and talking on offense. And as a result, they're starting to learn how to trust one another both on the offensive end and defensive end.
Great. Thanks, guys. Cool. Oh, you got one more? One more, yeah.
Any initial thoughts or just, initial reactions about, the 2 signings that you've had over the weekend?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited about Alex Bates. I think he's a ridiculous shooter with a high upside. Fantastic kid off the court, 4.0 student, unbelievable family. But his ability to knock down shots, his release, at 6'5", and he's freakish athletically. I'm really excited about him. And then obviously to keep a kid home like a Jameer Tripp, who I think is going to be absolutely spectacular. He can play every position. Right now, he's playing the one for our Xavier Lutheran, who's the top 25 team in the country, and he's playing very well. His ability to make everybody around him better is really impressive at his size. So I couldn't be more excited. I think he's going to be dynamic in the Atlantic 10. He's able to switch 1 through 5 on defense. He's able to play the 1 through the 5 on offense. So I'm pretty excited about what he brings to the table.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.